Well, Volodymyr Zelensky is meeting with Donald Trump at the White House today. The Ukrainian president is in Washington in part to attend the funeral of the late Senator Lindsey Graham, who was one of the few people in Trump's orbit who was a staunch supporter of Kyiv. In fact, Graham died of an aortic rupture just after returning from a trip to Ukraine. Now, during their visit, Zelensky is expected to ask Trump for more strategic cooperation in its fight against Russia, as well as anti-ballistic defense systems. Let's cross now to our correspondent in Washington, Fraser Jackson. Fraser, President Zelensky's in Washington, as I said, in part to attend this funeral of Lindsey Graham, who we know was a big supporter of Ukraine. Is there any sense that Graham's death will make Trump more sympathetic to Ukraine?
Well, this is the million-dollar question. Donald Trump, in the immediate aftermath of Lindsey Graham's death, already kind of tried to invoke his spirit to get various pieces of legislation passed through Congress. And, of course, there is still that Russian sanctions bill, which was being co-authored by Lindsey Graham and also Senator Richard Blumenthal on Capitol Hill. And a vote on that is likely expected before the August recess. So we'll see whether Donald Trump becomes more sympathetic one way or another. But there are already certain sympathies that are changing towards Ukraine, including key Maga influencers like Laura Loomer, for example, somebody who has the president's ear, has been in Ukraine for the last week or so after she has spouted a lot of Russian talking points over the course of the last 4 years. And she's done an about-face saying that she was wrong this whole time, that actually she was a victim of what she called the woke far-right media campaign and their denigrating content about Ukraine. And she's actually headed to the country and even sat down with Volodymyr Zelensky and spoke to Donald Trump, said to me twice while she was there. So there's been a significant shift towards Ukraine in some parts of the MAGA world. But the key is going to be here with Donald Trump in the White House. Zelensky wants more interceptor missiles to help fend off those missiles that Russia keeps firing at Ukraine. And of course, Donald Trump said and gave them a license to produce those on Ukrainian soil. But the technical, political and legal implications of that are going to take a while, if not years, to sort through.
Well, Fraser, of course, we all remember that disastrous meeting in the Oval Office at the start of Trump's second term. So just give us an idea of how the relationship between these two leaders has changed since then.
Yeah, I was standing just over there when it all went down, and it was the meeting that shocked the world. Volodymyr Zelensky, I think, since then has learned a lot about Donald Trump, but I also think that President Trump has learned a bit more about Zelensky as well. For the longest time, Donald Trump was constantly belittling Ukraine in front of other leaders, in front of his inner circle, and saying that they were effectively fighting a losing war. But we are told that Donald Trump has kind of changed his tune in the last few weeks. And over the last month or so, as Ukraine has started to shift the balance of things in the war. He is now seemingly more on board with that. And of course, that tracks for Donald Trump, somebody who likes to back winners, somebody who will even be pally with somebody like Mamdani, the mayor of New York, for example, if he believes that the person is capable of winning big in his terminology. So it's a significant shift that we've seen over the course of the last year and a half or so. But of course, we'll be waiting for more to see what the US will do or will pledge to do, as of course the Ukrainians are looking for more security guarantees, but Donald Trump is also looking for a political victory as he looks to maybe get a negotiated ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine on the cards, seen as the one that he's brokered with Iran has fallen apart.